Salon says, Dana, I feel like I'm using TV to escape. I forget my life when watching programs. Should I reduce my intake and keep an hourly limit? I feel anxious without it. I would encourage you, frankly, it sounds like you already have the answer that you're seeking. If you're feeling anxious without it, I would try to sit with that feeling of anxiousness and to ask yourself, and maybe doing some journaling or some free writing about it, and asking yourself, why am I feeling anxious? And what else could I do to resolve this anxiety? And to kind of see what answers you come up with. A fun way to do this that I've been experimenting with over like the past 6 months or so is to write on a pad of paper, to write like question and answer to so like us, right? Like our normal self is asking a question, but then answering it as your highest and best self. So it's more like your subconscious mind. So you could say something like, Dear subconscious mind, I notice that I am using TV as a way of escaping, but I find that I'm really anxious if I don't watch it. Like, what would you recommend? Or why do you think that I have all of this anxiety? And then see what your subconscious mind comes out with. And it might be a drawing. It might be, you might just get a picture in your mind. You might get random words. You might get colors. You might get full sentences. And to see like what messages your subconscious brain is trying to tell you, and to tap into that. So it's already really powerful if you're able to identify that this is one of your ways of escaping. That's a lot of awareness right there. I mean, that's kind of half the battle right there. So now it's going to be to kind of get to the bottom of that, and then to figure out like what would be another way that you could, instead of escape, handle what's going on or cope with what's going on. So, and everybody copes with things differently. I mean, my way that I tend to handle overwhelm is I sleep. Like that's probably my number one thing. I just get so exhausted where I could sleep for 20 hours a day and still wake up tired. So realizing now, like, okay, like yes, because it feels legitimate. Like it feels like I am really, really tired, but it's not like physical fatigue. It's more of an emotional fatigue. And, kind of knowing this, then I can figure out, okay, well, what am I trying to run away from? What am I trying to escape from? And like if you're honest with yourself, you're going to have the answers. And so for me, a lot of it has just been overwhelmed, like with all of this, like with my website and with, trying to run support groups and trying to ride this learning curve and handling, keeping up with emails and messages. And it's a lot. And, it's been incredibly overwhelming for me. And so like trying to think, okay, whatever I'm doing is not currently working because all I want to do is I'm just exhausted a lot. So I'm not going to stop doing this because I really do enjoy it. I just need to find a better way to really, an organization or lack of organization, I should say, is a huge thing for me. So I need to figure out a way that I can do this better and find more balance in my life and not feel like that I'm exhausted all the time. And so at first I thought, and this is going to be trial and error. I mean, this is where it kind of goes back to like knowing yourself and like knowing what works for you. But so for me, I originally thought okay, I'm just going to set aside chunks of time. Like I'm going to set aside, 3 hours on Saturday to write or, to make videos or to whatever. And then I was finding that these giant chunks of time never happened. Or if they did happen, like life was also happening and I wasn't getting as much done as I had hoped. And so then that feeling of overwhelm and being behind the ball was still there. And so just this past week, I began experimenting with the concept of like microbursts. So doing things in increments of 10 minutes. So now I'm like, okay, I need to, because I have the book club too. So okay, I need to read every day for a minimum of 10 minutes, and I'd like to write every day for 10 minutes. I need to be in my support groups every day for 10 minutes, and exercise 10 minutes, and work on organization at my work office and then my house. And because like all of these plates, I kept trying to like spin all these plates and they kept crashing down, and I kept finding myself like in more and more overwhelm. But I found that if I just say, just 10 minutes, like that's it, 10 minutes in making myself show up. It doesn't have to be an all day thing. It's just, for me, that just took the pressure off and it became enjoyable again. Cause it's like, yeah, I can do this for 10 minutes. And, I've been finding like I have a lot more momentum when I tell myself, okay, just 10 minutes at a time instead of, so that's what works for me. But different people have different techniques that you've got to just trial and error. And so it, of course, it depends on like what you're trying to run away from. If it's, loneliness, or if it's, emotional flashbacks or all that, then you'll have to kind of think, okay, like what would work for me to handle this, and then experiment and see what happens. Uh, it's amazing, seriously, like the 10-minute thing, and I set timers too. I know that sounds really silly, but I have found too, here's the other thing with like overwhelm is it it's I don't know about you guys, but my mind tends to like almost like catastrophize. I did not say that word right, and I'm why can I not say that word right? Like I can't say that word right. It's very like black or white, all or nothing kind of thinking. So it's very extreme thinking. And when I get overwhelmed, it's weird. Like I will have this really bizarre concept of time where something should or might only take 10 minutes, but in my mind, I feel like it'll take 30 minutes or an hour. And so then I'm putting it off because I'm like, oh, it's going to take like an hour. But then I sit down and do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I've been avoiding whatever for, the past month, when all it would have done was like taken 10 minutes to actually do this. So setting a timer has really helped me to kind of get more in tune with how long things take, and to be more aware of just that time and space thing. I don't know. I really struggle with that. It's very strange.
Lots of love to you guys. You are not alone. You are not crazy, and you really can move forward and heal from this.